Hello, Liza Robbins here. So good afternoon. It's 4 p.m. in the UK, so it's good afternoon from me, but maybe good morning or good evening, depending on where you are based. We have a very strong registration for this webinar, so you could be based anywhere, but you're all welcome. I should probably start by saying happy Kreston Week. It's been a great Kreston Week so far, hasn't it? I don't know if, like me, you've been following a lot of the social media activity, but it's stronger than ever. And thank you to all those firms that are engaging in such a positive manner. So I'll just give people 30 seconds to join, and maybe while they're joining, I could just have a look at some of the housekeeping, just to give you some, if you have any issues, you know what to do. So if you cannot see or hear me, if you look on my screen, if you look at the bottom, there's something called a chat message. And if you just send a chat message to all panelists, our very fantastic admin team will help you sort out whatever your problem is. If you have a question on the contents, and I'm joined today by two really fantastic speakers. One is Jovana Vlajic from Kreston MDM, which is in Serbia. And the other is Abbey Watkins from Kreston Reeves, which is a firm in the UK. So if you have a question for them, you can ask at any time. Now, they might be able to weave it into their presentations, but if not, we will pick up the questions at the end and answer them then. So just use the Q&A. Again, look at the bottom of your screen. This event is being recorded. You will find it on Kreston Community, where you can also download the slides, or indeed it's hosted on the Kreston YouTube channel. Right, I think we've probably given enough time for people to join. I'm sure people will join as they come. But let's just look at the content of what we're going to talk about, because this is about the power of purpose. Probably heard me talk about that a number of times, but we're just going to touch upon Kreston Global's purpose. I'm going to touch on that, but I don't want to take up too much of the time today because I said two fantastic speakers. I want you to hear from Jovana, who's going to be talking about working across borders. This is all about partnerships, and that's very much what purpose can be about. And then we're going to hear from Abbey about becoming a B Corp. This is a really interesting concept. And I think, Kreston Reeves is probably one of the few firms that are B Corp. So I'm interested in that one. But then let's have that Q&A. Let's find out, what do you want to know? How can purpose have a positive impact on a firm? And then we'll wrap up. So let's just go to the next slides and let me just talk a little bit about Kreston Global's purpose. So if we look at the next slide, I hope this isn't new to you, but here is our purpose. It is to connect ambitious and enlightened people from the entrepreneurial business community to promote positive impact around the world. Now, you might have gone through a purpose exercise yourself, or maybe a mission or a vision or a values exercise, and you may know that sometimes you can be crafting and drafting beautiful words, but do they really speak to you, or do they sound a bit like corporate speak? I can tell you what, I love our purpose. I tell you why I love it, because it lives. If you ask me to sum up in one word what I do, it's connect. That is what I do. Day in, day out. I love it, by the way. I connect people across the world. And who are those people? Genuinely, they're people like you. You are ambitious and enlightened people from the entrepreneurial business community. They're the clients you represent, aren't they? And it's about having a positive impact on the world. I think we all know this now. You know, our organizations don't exist on their own in a silo. We're all part of a much wider ecosystem and multiple communities. And we are very passionate about having a positive impact around the world. So let's go to the next slide. And I'm not going to detail on these slides, but I just want you to know they're there, and I'd always be happy to do a more in-depth presentation. But why do people have a purpose? Well, it's really about guidance and direction. Do we all know where we're going? Can we make decisions against those statements? And I can tell you that at Kreston Global level, we have made a decision using our purpose statement, and I actually found it very helpful, and it almost simplified the decision. And you know, when I say we, who? Well, it's all the stakeholders, isn't it? It's us, it's our member firms, it's clients, it's employees, it's regulators, it's the whole sort of stakeholder community. And I think this is a very important one, which is to attract talent. I hear a lot from firms at the moment how difficult it is to attract and retain talent. And we know through multiple surveys We were talking about one earlier that ACCA had done, which is about particularly younger generations. They are looking for organisations to whom they can align themselves in terms of values and purpose. And they really do look for organisations that are more purpose-led. And I think that's rather important. So let's go to the next slide. Why, again, this is a really why have a purpose, but I think ultimately, yes, you mitigate risks and you have this positive societal impact, but I think it's about sustainability now, and I mean sustainability in all its senses, i.e. the organisation having a future as well as the sort of wider ecosystem having a future, and I think that that's what this is about. Let's just quickly look what Kreston Global is doing as a result of their purpose statement. I mean, this is what has galvanized us to do things. And I think I would just point out the first one. We have our own NSI strategy, NSI being Net Society Impact Strategy. And I'd say that's twofold. One is, what do we do? Is our house in order? We organise conferences, as you may know, physical conferences across the globe. What are we doing to mitigate the carbon output from that? We are doing many, many things, and that's very important that we do that. Also, Kreston has established, or Kreston Global has established, something called an expert network. And this expert network is really run by member firms, experts in those firms in this area. And they've just launched a handbook, fantastic piece of work, because it provides three sort of scenarios. One to a firm that hasn't started this journey at all, one to a firm that has done an amount of work but needs to do more, and one is also looking at solutions for clients. So please, if you haven't looked at the ESG handbook, please do. We have a lot of partners. I think we're going to hear about partnerships, aren't we, from Jovana? But we at Kreston Global have a number of partners that has helped us do that. And I would say to you, you need partnerships. We use Community, which is our members site, which is all about connect, isn't it? It's about finding a professional in one part of the world and another and connecting with them. So that's sort of what facilitates our connect, as well actually as our events, not just events like this, but we're coming up to the Dubai conference in December, and it brings a number of groups together. And also, I think very importantly, and why I'm really, really delighted to be working today with Jovana and Abbey, is that they are members of the Kreston Futures Emerging Talent Group. Now, that's a group I have a great enthusiasm for, because I think our colleagues there give us a fresh perspective, a new way of thinking. And I think when our firms talk about the concept of it's hard to attract talent, these are very much the people we need to listen to, because they are talent and they can sort of enlighten us a bit with their thinking. So there is a connected leadership training. There's the Futures and Emerging Talent Group. You could link in with Jovana and Abbey on LinkedIn. I'm sure they're delighted to tell you more about it to get your firm involved. But don't miss, this is great, don't miss. We've got the Kreston Futures Emerging Talent Conference on the 9th of November at 2 p.m. UK time online. Please make sure your firm is engaged and your emerging leaders are engaged, because they will really enjoy being part of that peer group. So I think that's going to be very important. That was my quick introduction. I don't want to take up too much time on that, although there's a lot of things I could talk about in that area. I'm more excited for you to hear from our guests today. So let's go over, and let me hand over to start with to Jovana, who I said is from Kreston MDM, and that is a firm in Serbia. Jovana, over to you.
Thank you, Lisa. Hi, everyone. My name is, as Lisa said, I'm Jovana, and I'm from Kreston MDM, which is a member firm from Serbia. And today I will talk about breaking the boundaries within the Kreston Global Network, and all that through the story of our partnership with a member firm from Netherlands, Lenting the Young Accountants and Advisors. So in the following slide, please. You can see a few pieces of information about our two companies, and meanwhile, I will tell you a little about how our collaboration started. So as probably most of us, Lenting the Young also has had problems with retaining their talents, especially because most of their employees are from all over European unions, and we all know those folks like to travel, experiment with different jobs until they find that what they were really looking for. and they would usually leave after their working visa expires, which is about 3 years' time. So Lending the Young needed a more stable option as their business was growing to keep providing excellent services to their clients. And they did their own research on non-European Union member firms, which they could potentially collaborate with. So one day they reached out to Yelena, our managing partner, and they talked about the potential partnership. And after that, they came to Belgrade, to our office, where we had a meeting where we presented how both of our companies operated. And then we decided and agreed that we would be a perfect match for each other. After the meeting, we went to dinner together, of course, did some fun activities together. We matched really well, and that way we officiated the start of our amazing partnership. You can even see a cute photo of us from our first meeting in Belgrade. Next slide, please. So our collaboration primarily centers around audit and assurance relating services, which represent the vital component of both of our companies. The idea is for Kreston MDM to get client information and assignments from our Dutch partners. And then our team would complete those assignments and provide useful feedback to Lending the Young. So following slide, please. So Kreston MDM formed the team that will support Lending the Young in their national as well as international audit assignments. And there are numerous advantages to this support. And I believe that one of the most important ones in strengthening their capabilities and giving them time and space for more potential engagements. All of these further leads to enabling them to keep offering the world-class services, audit services to their clients. Next slide, please. So what do we get in return, so to say? So I believe that the core aspect of this partnership is mutual exchange of knowledge and innovation. Staying at the forefront of technological advancements is crucial in our industry, I believe, and Lending the Young uses a lot of progressive software and applications that they were happy to present to us and that we immediately implemented into our business. This advancement will not only fasten our progress, but it will also give us deeper insights into financial data of our clients. So next slide, please. So to conclude this so far, with this partnership, not only that we are expanding capacity of the Dutch audit practice, but we're also tapping into Serbian tech expertise. I believe that this synergy strengthens both firms and it opens up new possibilities for growth and excellence. And on the following slide, I will tell you a little about my role in this whole partnership. So Kreston MDM has formed a program of hiring young talents, and I'm thinking students in their first or second year of college, in which way we could educate them and mentor them and eventually mentor them our way and eventually get a complete young expert. And we also believe in paid internships. So these are all, of course, paid and considered a job. So I've curated a team of 3 such young talents that will support Lending the Young in their audit assignments. So how it works is we get the assignments from Lending the Young. We do a little project overview together. We analyze the clients, and based on all that, I would assign tasks to my team members based on their level of expertise, based on their wishes, and based on their availability at the moment, because some of them may be busier with some other engagements than the others. And of course, I would mentor them and help them out throughout the whole process. And we would have team meetings twice a week, where we would have progress evaluation and discuss our further steps. And I can now proudly say that we have successfully completed our pilot project with Lending the Young, even better than we expected. We got great feedback from them and decided to move on with our collaboration. And next slide, please. So to conclude all this, I believe that the partnership between Kreston MDM and Lending the Young marks a significant milestone within the Kreston Global Network. Besides all the advantages I've already mentioned, I believe that this kind of partnership is also a great jumpstart for young talents to gain invaluable expertise and learn how to become great leaders and managers. And I would also love to encourage everybody within the Kreston Global Network to reach out to the community whenever they need help, whenever they feel there's an opportunity for a partnership, wherever they need an advice of any kind, because everybody I've worked so far within the community is very open, very welcoming, always ready to help. And I believe that Kreston Global Network makes a great playground for various amazing partnerships. So I think that that's all from me today. Thank you so much for your time. And if you all agree, I would like to hand it over to my amazing colleague, Abbey Watkins.
Thanks, Jovana. Hi all. So as Lisa said, I'm Abbey Watkins and I'm from Kreston Reeves in the UK. And I'm going to talk to you today about becoming a B Corporation and the whole B Corporation movement, because Kreston Reeves has recently achieved its B Corp status and we're really passionate about it. So I just wanted to share some of the details about what it is, why we chose to certify, and how being a part of the movement makes a difference. So what is the B Corporation movement? The B Lab, as it's referred to, was founded in 2006 in the United States by 3 friends who basically shared the vision that they wanted to make business a force for good. B Lab is the assessment and accreditation body for B corporations. And so following the establishment of B Lab, the first 82 B Corps were certified in 2007. One of the important things about being a B Corp and the B Corporation movement is that it's sector agnostic, which basically means that you don't need to be producing a product or a service that's classed as sustainable in its own right to be able to certify. The movement is more about the way the business is run, how the team is treated, how the business uses energy, and ultimately how the business treats the environment. So whilst the movement started with just 82 B Corps, there are now more than 6,500 B corporations globally, and over 1,200 of those are in the UK, and Kreston Reeves are lucky enough to be one of them. So the movement focuses on placing stakeholders at the heart of all businesses and encouraging those stakeholders to harness their position to transform the role of business in society and make sure that it does work for everyone and for the planet. So why is the movement important? I think we're all aware that resources are becoming increasingly limited, and the B Lab believes that that is a symptom of system failure. And that unsustainable levels of inequality and low levels of trust between society, government, and businesses are also symptoms of system failure. Historically, all of our structures, be it societal, political, and economic, have all been focused on maximising shareholder value, but B Lab ultimately decided that that needed to change. So the B Corp certification is the only certification that measures a company's entire environmental performance. And one of the brilliant things about it is that it doesn't just prove where the organisations who are certified excel now. B Corps are committed to considering stakeholder impact for the long term. And as a result, B Corps are required to recertify every 3 years so that it ensures it's a continuous journey of improvement. So to ensure that all B Corps are aligned to the B Corp purpose, when the B Lab was founded in 2007, the founding B Corps created the Declaration of Interdependence. And the Declaration of Interdependence declares that business should work for everyone. It recognises that we're all connected and that a business doesn't operate in a vacuum. And it basically means that you care about the people who you work for, the people who work for you, the communities in which you do business, and the environment that you rely upon for your resources. Next slide, please. So the B impact assessment is effectively the test that you have to take to become a B Corporation. And its 5 main areas of focus are the elements listed on screen. So the B impact assessment evaluates how a business's organisation impacts their people, their community, their environment and their clients. So in our experience, it looked at what we do and how we do it, our staff, our clients, the suppliers that we use, and how we impact our communities and the environment. Next slide, please. So the certification process is made up of 4 main sections. Firstly, we were required to complete a comprehensive in-depth questionnaire, which covers all aspects of the business, and that's split into the 5 areas of focus that were listed on the last slide. Following that, there's a period of evaluation in which you're required to provide extensive evidence to verify that the answers that you've provided in the questionnaire are true. So for each area of the B impact assessment, the organisation receives a score, and based on that score, you then either qualify to become a B Corp or not. So all of the scores from each of the 5 areas are added together, and in order to become a B Corp, the business needs to score 80 or more in the assessment. So as I mentioned earlier, recertification occurs every 3 years, and so the business's policies and procedures need to be continually renewed and improved to maintain the B Corporation status in the next certification. It's definitely not just a tick box exercise, it's a commitment to continual improvement and adherence to the B Corporation policies in the longer term. Next slide, please. So understandably, you might be thinking, why does being a B Corporation matter, both to you personally or to your peers, or even to the people that come after us? So there's endless reasons that being a B Corporation is beneficial. But one of the main ones is that achieving a B Corp status creates a more sustainable business landscape, both for us in the current workforce and for those that come after us. I think if we want to ensure longevity of our firms, then it's important that we create and contribute to a world that allows for that. And in being a B Corp, we're ensuring that increasingly limited environmental resources aren't wasted. I think from a Kreston Reeves perspective as well, we think it really displays our commitment to the highest standards of ethical, sustainable and transparent practices, which is of course incredibly important in its own right, but it's also really important for attracting new talent to the firm. I know from discussions in the Kreston global group that I'm part of, and from what Lisa said at the start of this webinar, that attracting talent is a problem that is faced worldwide. And our B Corp status not only demonstrates just how much we care about our people, but it also caters to the needs of younger generations as they're becoming increasingly concerned about sustainability when it comes to their career movements. And it's something that they will consider when choosing who they work for. The B Corporation movement also really safeguards the future of the younger generations by creating a world where business and the planet are balanced. I think intergenerational working is, of course, hugely important, and showing our commitment to the future of young generations in this way by being a B Corp and committing ourselves to the future of the world at large, it really fosters better relationships within our firm, which creates better outputs and just generally a better world for us all to live in. So I hope that helps everyone to understand exactly what it means to be a B Corp, how you might go out certifying, why we chose to certify, and how it has an impact on the people that come after us. And ultimately, I hope it encourages some of you to think about how and why you could incorporate some of the B Corp principles, if not just applying to become a B Corp in your own firms.
That's great. Thanks, Abby. Thanks, Jovana. Both really interesting topics. And I like them because they're very different. So we do have a few questions for you, if you don't mind. I may have to ask you to come back on the screen so we can see you. You can both come back on the screen. Great. So thank you again for your presentations. Very interesting. So let me just look and I can do them. Jovana, why don't I start with you? You were talking about partnerships. In fact, I talked about partnerships, didn't I? That was very much sort of something we're involved in. So I liked the fact that you were showing it in a different way. And you said at one point, you know, other firms could look for other partnerships. But could you explain in which way? How could another member of the Kreston global community reach out to another member firm and seek the sort of partnership that you are currently enjoying?
Sure. Thank you for your question. So there are numerous ways you could reach out to the other member firms, but I think the easiest way is through our intranet Kreston community, where you can ask to join, and then there are a lot of referral tabs. There's a contacts tab, experts tab. You can share or find referrals if you need to. You could look for experts. You can filter them by country, by their expertise. And I think that is the easiest way to find firms to collaborate with. And then there are also live events that we have. So you guys could register. I think the following one is in Dubai, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Dubai. And that is a great way to network, to meet other firms, to meet colleagues from all over the world. I think those are two of the best options, but you can find all the firms on Kreston Global website, and there you have contacts of firms throughout the world.
Wow. You know what, Jovana, people are going to think I wrote that answer for you. I didn't, but I have a great passion for Kreston community because, you know, we represent over 20,000 people over the world. And while we all know some people, you know, I bet you didn't know all your colleagues in Lenting de Jong before.
I did not.
No. And it's kind of reasonable, isn't it? So, wow, that's brilliant. So you're saying use Kreston community, engage in the network, in the live events. And from what I sense by your presentation is you enjoy the partnership.
I do, actually. We really clicked well, and we email each other, and they're actually visiting us again in Belgrade soon. We're yet to determine a date, but we really clicked. It's Perfect. Really good.
That's really nice. And I just look forward to hearing more about it, about, you know, a year on, what it looks like. Very exciting. And you're definitely filling a need for firms, because that is a big issue for firms at the moment, capacity and capability. So thank you for that. Abby, we have a question for you as well, if you don't mind. Again, a very interesting presentation about the whole B Corporation movement. And I think it's really exciting that Kreston Reeves is a B Corp, because I don't know many accounting firms that are. You might tell me there are, but I personally can't think of any. But for the people listening, we've heard of Kreston Reeves. Would there be any other organisations we might have heard of or would like to know about who are B Corps? Can you think of?
Yeah, I imagine so. I mean, as I said, there's over 6,500 B corporations across the world now. I think some of the names that people might have heard of before are Ben & Jerry's, The Body Shop, Innocent Smoothies, Brewdog, Tom's, the clothing company, shoe company. So there is loads of them, and it is expanding more and more, which is really nice to see, because I think it is a really important movement, and what B Corp stands for is really going to safeguard the future for all of us. And so I think the more that we can kind of grow the amount of B Corps that there are, the better, really. And I'm sure anyone from Kreston Reeves, if any of our member firms are interested in becoming a B Corp or anything, I'm sure we'd be more than happy to answer questions about how we went through it and help along the way and things. So
that's great, Abby. Thank you. That was interesting. When you were talking about the names of those organisations, they are the sort of organisations people want to work for, aren't they?
Yeah,
so it's
exactly.
Kind of a reinforcing circle.
Yeah, definitely.
That's very interesting. We're nearly running out of time, but I have one more question, which is going to go to Jovana. Jovana, someone just asked a very practical question, which is, how did you actually meet Lentig de Jong? How did you physically meet them to develop this partnership? Do you know when you physically met them?
So after they talked to Jelena through emails and on the phone, they visited us in Belgrade. They came to our Belgrade office, and that's where we physically met for the first time.
So first of all, it was over email.
It was through email, and funny thing, we scheduled two days meeting because we weren't sure how that was going to go, but we actually managed to do everything in one day. They were like, "You guys are way better than we expected," so it went easy. So we finished it in one day, and then the other day we just had lunches and dinners together. So we actually made pretty good friends too.
Super, good. That was just one question that came in. Well, unfortunately, we're out of time. I think I could ask you many more questions because I like both of your initiatives very much. So I think that brings us, unfortunately, to the end of this great session. But I would really, so two things I've got to do. One is if you look in the chat function, everyone who's listening, there is a feedback link. If you click on the link, it's a very, very short survey, but it just helps us understand what do you like about these events? What can we improve? What else should we be doing? So please just take a little time, literally a couple of minutes, to fill out that survey. That would be great. And of course, a big thanks to Jovana and Abbey, who I think have been really interesting to hear what you've got to say. And I must say, I think great ambassadors for your firm. So I hope we hear from you again. And just thank you very much. And thank you to everybody who's attended. And today's presentations and the recording will be shared with all attendees. You can find it on Kreston Community, which, as you can tell, Jovana and I both love. So, and I'm sure Abbey does too. So you can find, there we are, nodding. Brilliant. So you can find everything on there. And thank you very much. And happy Kreston Week. And I look forward to looking at the social media posts. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you.